Having fun yet? Yeah. Okay. John Corazine, he's still looking for that $1.2 billion. Gee, where did I put that money? Last week, he told Congress he didn't know where that money went. No idea. Former governor of New Jersey, one time worked at Goldman Sachs. Didn't he run the dump?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. He wasn't working in the mailroom. And he can't figure out, I had no idea where that $1.2 billion. MF's global loss analysts are talking about something called hypothecation. Hypothecation. I read this over the weekend, and I thought, that seems like a bad word. It seems to me like this is going to come and bite us right in this general area. So I brought David Buckner in to explain it. He's an adjunct professor at Columbia University, but I don't hold that against him. He is also the founder of Bottom Line Training and Consulting and a good friend. David, how are you?
Good to see you.
Okay, hypothecation.
It's an easy concept. It's a bad word.
Yeah.
And there's two reasons it's a bad word. It starts with hypothetical.
Correct.
And that's what it is.
Okay. Could I explain it to you and see if I get it?
Yeah, go with it.
Okay,
go with
right.
it.
So I want to buy a car.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to buy this car, and this is me, and this is you. You're the bank. And I say, David, I want to buy the car, but I'm going to give you, do we have a little sticker of a house? Do we have a deal of a house? Oh, yeah, okay, good. All right. Oh, we have, look at this. We have all of those. We have all of these little things. Okay, so I want to buy, this is my dream. I want to buy a house.
Be the bank.
Okay.
Right.
I want to buy this. Okay. And I say to you, David, here's what I'm going to do. If you give me the money to buy this car, if I default, you can have.
I got the house.
You got the car.
I got the car. That's the collateral.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to give you the money, okay, and I get the car.
That's the collateral.
Right. But now you want to loan money to somebody else, or the bank needs money, right?
Well, the bank may want to sell the loan on. It's no different than recollateralizing it.
Okay.
So they sell the loan on. That's the hypothecation.
Okay,
the
so
sale
they
of the loan.
Sell this off. But what happens is if they default, another bank.
This person has the right to go after your car.
To cover their loans?
They've received the money. They can be out of the picture. They've sold the right to receive the collateral to a new bank, which values it at the value of the car.
Right, but wait a minute. But does that mean that even if I don't default, if they default, they can take this car?
They can come after the collateral if they default.
Even if you've been paying?
Yeah, because you paid a very small interest.
Right.
The interest rate is smaller if you allow them to hypothecate.
See the trouble coming? See the trouble? See the trouble? You can, tell me, how many times have you heard this already?
Yep.
I've played by all the rules. I've done exactly what I'm supposed to.
I'm losing my car.
You're paying the bank goes down, another bank or entity
comes
says,
back after your car.
well, I need that money, so I'm taking the car, and you've paid all your money.
Absolutely, everything went through.
And you're done.
That's correct,
and
because they went down in between.
Perfect.
Now, if they continue to sell it on, that's rehypothecation. And if you get 4 or 5, here's the interesting part. If that specific car stays there in its value, then this third and fourth and fifth bank are getting the full value of the car.
So let's do this.
Yep.
Let's say that I've got Jim's bank owns my house, right? But then Jim sells my loan, which they all do.
Yep, they do. They
right?
resale.
But to help everybody, what they've done is they said, we're going to spread out the risk. So now Jim's bank owns it, but so does Bob's bank, and Steve's bank, and Jim's bank, and Bill's bank. So they all...
It's created a syndicate. It's a syndicate, and they have securitized the syndicate by the value of the home.
No one actually owns
only
my
a percentage,
house.
only a portion.
Right. And if this bank goes down...
They can cut. Every one of these can come back after. The syndicate transfers all of the risk, but absorbs very little of the downside risk if your value of the home goes down.
So let's say this is Germany, France, England, the U.S.
And let's make it even more complex. It's not a house. It's stock. You see, collateralization has a physical house. Hypothecation is stock. They're securities. They're not houses. They're stocks and bonds. They're securities. So what do I do, Glenn? I borrow money from a bank to buy a stock or a bond. That bank sells the right of that stock and bond collateral onto another bank and onto another bank and onto another bank, and it gets even more interesting. If you get outside the United States, they can sell it onto another bank for the value of the stock the day that they sell it, which means they have the right to come back and take all of the value increase in the stock. They are actually, in London, you can sell it for 140% of what you paid for it.
So, David,
It's hypothetical.
Help me out, because I'm sorry to be such a first grader on this stuff, but I'm just my first 3 days with this word.
It starts with the stock, and that stock I want to buy. I have the bank who loans me the money to buy the stock. In return, they get the collateral of the stock. That's simple. That's called buying on margin.
Got it.
Not a problem.
Got it.
The bank says...
But this is what caused just this is what caused 1929.
Yeah. Okay. The buying on margin, because they were going 90% borrowing.
So there was 10% out there that everybody called in and said, I want that 10 cents on every dollar. And
the banks were giving 90%. They wanted 90%. So if the stock went down by 10%, the value of the stock was zero. The bank said, I need you to make it up. Remember, I would only going to be 90% exposed.
Okay, so
this was 1929.
This is 1929. Yeah. And to improve on that.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
What happens is the bank says, you know what, I've loaned you the money. I don't want to really wait for the stock to be repaid. So I'm going to sell that loan to bank number 2 over here. So they sell the loan. And by the way, that stock price has gone from 100 up to 120 at the time that they sell it. So they sell it to this bank for the right to come back and get 120. In other words, this bank can sell it for 20 more.
Wow.
And with that, they have the right to come and get the stock. They don't have the right to get it if they get the right, period. They don't have the right to get 120 from you. They have a right to get the stock as collateral if you don't make your payments.
Got it.
So they go on and sell it to another bank. And each time they do it, the one thing these banks, the further away you get, they're not looking at the stock price. In fact, this stock price may have gone down to 80 or to 60. And what are they still selling it at? A minimum of 100 and as high as 140 if you're in the UK.
Holy cow.
We now have a hypothetical banking system.
So, somebody told me, one of my deep throat friends, and he said to me, Glenn, do you know why we went off the gold standard? And I said, yeah, I think so. And I said, but I think we should go back. And he said, you can never go back to the gold standard. Something I'll never forget. There's not enough money. Yeah. There's not enough gold to do this. Yeah. Okay? So I started, and this has taken me a few years, I started really looking at our lives, and I mean globally. What we have globally, just the satellites in space, everything that we have is an asset that took money to build. Yeah. That's why they did this. There's the gold, going off the gold standard and being able to inflate the money and to be able to play on margins is still not enough money. That's why we have 1.5, is it quadrillion?
Yeah.
I don't even know what is it?
I don't even know.
I don't even know what it is. Quadrillion dollars in this kind of funny money that you were just showing.
But it's even one step worse.
Okay.
Okay?
David, hang on just a second. Don't worry, it's straight vodka. Okay, go ahead.
All of these transfers are unregulated.
What'd you say?
They're unregulated. Because they're not acting as banks. They're acting as brokers of loans.
Okay.
It's unregulated.
I've heard this one question, and I want you to answer to this when we come back. I've heard this one statement over and over again from people like Occupy Wall Street, and they've got to be the smartest college students I've ever heard, because they say, make them produce the paperwork. Make the banks produce the paperwork.